There's an old saying amongst manufacturers: if you want to maximise your profits, you have to find ways to do more with less. Today we're going to look at two companies who did just that. Edstein Creative Stone is a New South Wales company that makes stone benchtops and monuments. The other business is Maton Guitars in Victoria. In a push to make their operations leaner, more efficient and less wasteful, both companies brought in outside experts to help them. Now, bringing in this external set of eyes helped to identify new opportunities. It also got their staff more engaged in creating value and reducing waste. As you'll see in this case study, applying lean manufacturing principles help these businesses to identify and realise big savings. We begin this case study with Maton Guitars in Victoria. Ian Young, thanks for coming on Smart Money. In 2014, you did a comprehensive review of the use of all the resources you used to make Maton Guitars. What were you hoping to find, and what was the catalyst for that review?
Well, one of the things that's most important to us is to optimise the use of our timbers. But by reviewing the use of all the materials that we use to make our guitars, we're hoping to understand how those materials are used, and if it's not used to make the guitar, where do those materials go?
How did you approach that materials assessment? Did you follow lean manufacturing principles?
Well, we actually used a mass balance approach to understand the resource efficiency. So we measured everything coming out of our processes and measured that against everything coming into the processes. It's an adaptation of the lean manufacturing principles, which tends to focus more on time-based measures. But the thing that had the greatest impact on our business has been the understanding of the mass balance principles.
So what is the mass balance approach? Can you give us an example of that?
Well, if we take a cubic metre of timber, we can actually measure how many good pieces of backs and sides we got from that cubic metre. But we can also categorise all different forms of waste. And they might be shavings and sawdust, they might be solid offcuts, and they might be rejected components. But all of those things have to add up to the same mass of a cubic metre of timber.
After the materials assessment, what were the key focus areas for you?
We developed a plan. There were several elements to that plan. That included a number of workplace improvement activities, some visual systems we developed, and also some capital investment projects. We invested in a new saw, which has been a real game changer for our business, that now cuts 10 sets of backs and sides when we used to cut one set at a time.
Let's talk about the real cost of waste. What is it and how do you measure it?
Most people focus on the cost of waste as being the cost of disposing of the bin. We're focused on what's going into the bin. One of our team's projects was to look at that more closely, and they discovered that the cost of materials in the bin was up to 15 times the cost of disposing that bin. And when we added the effort and the energy that we had also put into those raw materials, including the timber, that cost was 50 times the cost of the disposal of the bin. So we tend to say it might cost us $200 to empty the bin, but it could cost us up to $10,000 to fill that bin.
As a result of that initial assessment, you've changed quite a few things around here. What practical things have you changed, and what kind of results have you got?
Well, the saw has given us significant savings. That's doubled our yield of timber, so that from 1 cubic metre of timber we're getting twice as many backs and sides for the guitars. There's also been some significant productivity savings. We only have to sand, for example, 1 or 2 passes when we used to sand 7 or 8 passes for that same piece of timber. We've also reduced our cost of waste management by 50%. We've reduced our energy costs by 20%. They're some of the most significant savings.
And finally, what have you learned that you can pass on to other businesses watching now?
Well, one of the things that we have learned is to get started. Don't wait until you have a plan. We can get some benefits straight away. The second thing would be to use a mass balance approach. That really changed our thinking and helped us to understand our resource efficiency. And the third thing would be to understand that improving the quality of your product and the sustainability of your processes isn't a cost. It actually can be a benefit to the business.
So it can actually save you money?
It has saved us money.
Bringing in outside help has also worked for Edstein Creative Stone in New South Wales. The changes have been quite dramatic. The company has nearly managed to wipe out its use of mains water consumption, and they've nearly halved their energy use. I met up with CEO Nigel Ferguson to find out how they did it. In 2013, Edstein undertook the Green to Lean program that was offered as part of the New South Wales Sustainability Advantage program. What did that involve?
The program involved looking through the processes that we have in our business. We identified 3 key areas that we wanted to work on to get better efficiency, lean those areas down and actually drive change through the business. We did a value stream map which identified the tasks within that, and then we identified areas that we can improve. And so the team actually worked on breaking that down and getting the processes into place in the factory.
Your operation would be a thirsty, power-hungry business. Can you give us an example of how you've managed to reduce your energy use?
We have cut our energy use considerably. We looked at technology as a way to do that. We invested over $1 million in more energy efficient machinery. Our edge polishing machine, which is a fairly big user of energy, we were able to save over 30% energy usage with the same output, but with a more efficient machine, which was a good outcome for us.
You use compressed air machines as well. What have you done on that side?
The compressor is a big energy user. Basically, that machine ramps up when we turn it on, and then as it ramps down, we lose the air in the system. So what we tried to do is adjust our shifts so that it was more efficient, and then work our way through ways in which we could reduce the ramping up and the cutting down of the power to have the air running more consistently through the business.
To achieve these results, how important was it to change the culture of your team and management? Did that contribute to better staff engagement?
Staff engagement is a key to the success of the Green to Lean program. We actually identified areas that the team could actually be involved in through the whole process. Their buy-in allows them to have ownership, and we actually end up with a better outcome at the end of the day if they own the process and then can see the results and the benefits on the shop floor.
Talking of teams, you have a total preventative maintenance team. How does that work?
The TPM team identify areas of maintenance or efficiency gains on the shop floor. That team will actually create a list. The list will be put to the management team. We can budget out any high expenditure items, and then those items will actually be scheduled in to go through into the production. The changes are made and we track those as they go through so that we can see the benefits, and the team obviously see the benefits of less downtime and their ideas being implemented.
Finally, by taking this leaner approach, how has it affected your labour margins?
Our labour margins, we've been able to maintain them in the face of rising costs. CPI each year, we've maintained our labour through being more efficient at what we do. So the Green to Lean program definitely identified areas where we could get savings, and that drives through to the bottom line, which is very important.
As you just saw, Maton Guitars and Edstein Creative Stone have both benefited financially from becoming leaner in their operations. In looking at how they implemented those changes, I found 3 key things that other businesses can learn from. First up, the money-saving opportunities are often right under our noses, but we miss them. Both companies brought in outside consultants, and that helped them to identify new opportunities to save. Secondly, embracing a leaner approach to manufacturing has made both companies more efficient, more productive, and more profitable at the same time. Finally, by changing the culture of the companies to one where staff are motivated to embrace change, they've also been able to identify new efficiency savings. That's a win-win for everyone, and particularly the bottom line.
Smart Money's case studies have been developed with assistance from the New South Wales Office of Environment and Heritage and Sustainability, Victoria.